What is up, guys? Unwashed Heathen here with another video. I know I said I wasn't going to make another video until my Trials Rising series comes out next week. My first series, by the way. However, I saw a news article that I thought was so timely in relation to my Trials Rising series, and I also thought that it was so absolutely outrageous and, to me, hysterical, that I absolutely had to make a video on it. So, for those of you who have played Trials Rising, this emote at the results screen might be familiar to you. Actually, I'm guessing it probably is very familiar to you. So, let's check it out. Here we go. Alright, so this is the ass-shaking emote that occurs when somebody has it equipped and wins the race. I have never thought anything of it. I have used this emote for a while. I use another one now. However, I did use this one for a while because I thought it was funny. But a lot of other people use it because they think it's funny as well. But I never thought anything of it. I see this emote a lot, whether it be because I win or somebody else wins. And like I said, never thought anything else of it. I pretty much have just blocked it out at this point because I've seen it so many times, and I just want to get back and either do another track or try to get a better time. Well, anyway, excuse me, Kotaku has an article written by Ethan Gatch on February the 27th, so I'm a little late on the story. It's entitled, Trials Rising players have had enough of the game's ass-slapping taunts. So apparently some people are getting a little salty about this. At first I thought this might be a joke article, because we are getting close to the 4th of July. A lot of gag articles come out, especially in the gaming media. However, I figured, due to the society we currently live in, that this was probably not a gag. And I was correct in that assumption. I'm going to read the article here, most of it, just because I want you to enjoy it with me. Okay, here we go. Overall, the motorsport platformer Trials Rising is a pretty fun game, even on Switch where it's been badly visually downgraded. One thing that's not fun is having your nose rubbed in it every time you fail to beat a rival's time. In Trials Rising, you're not just trying to complete a course, something that can be challenging by itself at times. You're also trying to get the best time while doing so. To help ignite the player's sense of competition, the game matches you against other players' ghosts. Rather than just challenging you to overcome the record time set by a friend, Trials Rising has a knack for putting you up against the superior skill of internet randos, who will then taunt you when you fail. On the race completion screen, the avatar for the player whose time was ahead of yours slaps their ass while a kazoo plays some version of na 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 na. The first time, it's just kind of silly, of a piece with the rest of the Trials humor, which revolves around seeing the crash test dummy body of your driver brutalized every time you screw up a jump or landing. By the 10th, I was looking for some way to shut it off, though unfortunately, as far as I can tell, there's no place in the options to do so. Alright, so he goes on to say that this is an issue on the game's subreddit and forum, and to quote 2 users. Or 3, actually. The first quote from a user on the subreddit is, I want to play this game more, but every time I open it, I'm annoyed by something. Whether it's the slow UI, grinding the same map over and over, having a monkey blow a kazoo and shake his ass at me, the stupid loot boxes, or the bad sticker system. Another user says, the game is fun and the gameplay itself is not a concern here, but what has got to be the worst thing for me is trying to enjoy myself, but at the end of every race I have to listen to some stupid horn and watch someone, most likely a monkey, shake his ass at me. Alright, and then at the end of the article, he says that it would be slightly less aggravating if they were coming from players you actually knew, but Trials Rising doesn't allow you to limit your ghost opponents to people on your friends list. And that's essentially the entire article. I'm going to link it below so you can enjoy it yourself, and you can find it in the description. Okay, so there are so many ways I could go with this. I could sympathize with the people who are having self-esteem issues because of a taunt in the completion screen of a video game. I could talk about the snowflake generation and how everybody feels entitled to be given a participation trophy and be told they're still awesome even though they didn't win. Or I could say what I'm going to say. This is absolutely absurd. I cannot possibly understand how a taunt in a video game, a competitive video game that is not vulgar, derogatory, or racially, sexually, or any type of that sort of thing insensitive. I don't understand. And I guess it all boils down to self-esteem. However, I think it's important people realize that self-esteem, the key word is there, it's self. It starts within yourself. And some people, I think, just need to work on that. I mean, you cannot always control the world. You can't control what type of content is in the games you play, the media you watch. I mean, to an extent you can control it, but you can't all the time. And you're going to see stuff that may offend you or you may dislike, but you just need to learn to deal with it. It's a taunt in a video game, and like I said, it's not derogatory under any standard that I believe would be found offensive to the sensibilities of the general public. And, you know I said I wasn't going to go the way of the snowflake on this one. However, I think it might have something to do with the generation of everybody gets a participation trophy, everybody is a winner. It may have something to do with that. I mean, I could understand if you found it annoying on a auditory level or repetitive level, but this article goes more into saying that it is offensive and annoying on an emotional self-esteem level. And they even go on to say that you should just, it'd be different if it came from your friends. So, your friend having a taunt is worse than a random person. Oh, because in your head, that random person who you don't know is better than you? I mean, there's always going to be somebody better than you at anything. It's just the way the world works. And you know how you can overcome that and not see this taunt as often? Win. Get better. Use those higher skilled opponents that you are matched with to increase your skill and win the match. And have another taunt selected as your taunt, and you won't have to see it. Once I change my taunt, I hardly ever see that taunt anymore, because I usually come out on top. And no, I'm not trying to say get good, or something like that. I mean, essentially that is what I'm saying, but I'm not using it in that context. I'm just saying improve your skill, and you won't see it as much. You don't have to be amazing. You just can improve, and it might not be an issue anymore, and maybe you'll feel better about yourself knowing that you have improved, and your self-esteem won't be as low. It's just something that absolutely baffles me, and I pity game developers nowadays, because they have to worry about so much in relation to what is offensive, what is acceptable to the player base, whereas used to it would just be a certain number of things. Nowadays it's everything. But anyway, guys, that's all I gotta say. I've got my first series coming next week, guides, walkthroughs, bunch of strategies, a history of red links and trials. Be sure to check it out, subscribe, comment, turn notifications on. I love you guys. See you next week with my series Unwashed Heathen out.